The golden sun sets over Lake Victoria, casting shimmering ripples on the water. A small wooden canoe glides across the lake carrying Odongo, a young fisherman with strong arms and hopeful eyes. He hums a song as he casts his net, the wind rustling through the acacia trees on the shore. Beyond the lake, in the heart of the Luo village, preparations for a wedding are underway. Women pound millet while young girls weave flower crowns from fresh blossoms. The air is filled with laughter and the scent of roasting meat. But the bride-to-be Akinyi does not smile. She stands at the entrance of her father's grand hut, staring at the distant lake, her heart heavy with longing. For Akinyi is promised to another, a wealthy elder, a man of status and age, while the one she truly loves, Odongo, can never afford her bride price. That evening, as the sky turns deep purple, Odongo approaches the chief's homestead. His simple shuka, wrapped cloth, flutters in the breeze as he kneels before Chief Obiero, Akinyi's father. The chief sits regally draped in a blue and gold robe, a beaded cane resting across his lap. Around him, village elders nod as he speaks. The chief raises his hand. His demand is clear: 10 fat cows, a white bull, gold bracelets, and a bag of rare spices from distant lands. An impossible price for a mere fisherman. The villagers murmur, some laughing, others shaking their heads in pity. Odongo's heart sinks. The chief has spoken. There is no room for negotiation. As the moon rises, Odongo stands alone by the lake, staring at his empty hands. His love for Akinyi burns inside him like the glowing embers of a dying fire. Desperation creeps into his soul. The night is restless. Owls hoot, leaves rustle. A whisper rides on the wind, leading Odongo deep into the forest. He walks through the shadows, his feet brushing over ancient roots until he reaches a small, crooked hut, the dwelling of Mama Nyaguthi. Inside, a dim light flickers. Hanging gourds filled with strange powders, bones, and woven charms dangle from the ceiling. In the center of the hut, the old woman crouches beside a blackened pot, stirring a thick, bubbling liquid. Her face is painted with white tribal markings, her eyes filled with knowing. Odongo bows his head. He does not need to speak. Mama Nyaguthi merely smiles. She dips her fingers into a wooden bowl and scatters red dust into the air. The hut trembles. The flames in the pot blaze higher, casting eerie shadows. The next morning, the village awakens to a miracle. Odongo, once a humble fisherman, now leads a procession of gleaming cattle through the village. His arms drip with gold, his skin shines with scented oils. The villagers gasp in awe. The chief, though surprised, accepts the bride price, for wealth is never questioned. A grand wedding follows. Drums thunder, feet stomp, voices rise in joyous ululation. Akinyi, draped in a magnificent red and gold kitenge, her wrists jingling with bangles, smiles at Odongo as they sit together, bathed in moonlight. For a moment, happiness fills the air, but the wind carries a warning. Mama Nyaguthi's whisper lingers in the night. Wealth granted by the spirits must never be questioned. The morning after the wedding, the first misfortune strikes. The cattle are gone, vanished without a trace. The villagers whisper, "A curse," they say. The work of angry spirits. Days pass. Odongo's wealth crumbles. The gold in his hands turns to dust. The spices spoil. His once proud hut rots from within, its roof caving in as if swallowed by unseen forces. But the greatest pain comes when Akinyi, once radiant and full of life, begins to wither. Her bright eyes grow dull. Her laughter fades. She grows weaker by the day, her skin losing its glow. No healer in the village can explain her illness. The whispers grow louder. It is a debt unpaid, the elders say. A price taken from the spirits must always be returned. Fear grips Odongo's heart. He remembers the warning. He was never to question his fortune, never to speak of it. But now it is demanding payment, and the price is Akinyi's life. One last time, Odongo ventures into the dark forest. The wind wails as he approaches the old hut. Inside, Mama Nyaguthi waits, her eyes glowing in the dim light. She says nothing as he falls to his knees before her, his eyes full of pleading. He begs, offering anything, everything to save Akinyi. But the spirits do not trade, they take. Odongo's heart pounds as Mama Nyaguthi sprinkles white powder across the floor. The shadows shift, forming shapes that seem to whisper and writhe. The old woman's voice is soft but firm. The only way to break the curse is for Odongo to return what he took. The bride price must be repaid in full, but the cattle are gone, the gold turned to dust. There is only one offering left, his own life. The spirits demand balance. A life for a life. For a moment, Odongo hesitates. He sees Akinyi's face in his mind, her gentle smile, the love in her eyes before she grew weak. Then with quiet acceptance, he closes his eyes. A sudden gust of wind extinguishes the fire. The room turns cold. When the flames flicker back to life, the hut is empty. Odongo is gone. As the sun rises over the village, Akinyi awakens. Her strength has returned. She sits up, confused but whole once more. Outside, the villagers gather, murmuring. They have found something by the lake shore, a lone wooden canoe drifting gently as if it had been left there by a man who had walked into the waters and never returned. Akinyi steps forward, her heart pounding. She feels his absence. She knows. Tears fill her eyes, but a warm breeze brushes against her cheek. Somewhere in the whisper of the wind, in the gentle lapping of the water, Odongo's love remains. His sacrifice, his devotion will never be forgotten. The bride price has been paid.